So I'm just here in the Coquihalla region in Hope, British Columbia. I'm just getting up in the mountains for a solo overnighter. Looking forward to a great night in the outdoors and some exploring, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I'm just heading through the woods here, and just to share my goal for the day, I'm trying to get to Flatiron Peak, which is a peak at 1,898 meters. But I'm just gonna pace myself, see how I do today. That is most likely the goal, but I'm just looking to have a really soothing, well-needed night in the outdoors, get some mental clarity. Beautiful winter wonderland out here. So I've just broken out of the trees into more of a clearing, and you get your first really nice views of Yak Peak over there. You start to get some really good visuals of that one. It's finally nice to be out of the trees for a bit. I just quickly delayered. Normally when I'm going on these colder weather hikes, how I'll go about things is I will start with less layers and apply as it gets really cold. However, it was really cold below, so I actually layered up still fairly lightly, but more so than usual. So my kind of tactic for avoiding sweating is just taking lots of breaks, as well as I have some shoulder, upper body injuries I gotta attend to. I take a frequent amount of breaks to avoid sweating, and before the point I know when sweating's inevitable, I switched off a layer. Reason being, when I'm camping up in these mountains tonight, I'm gonna need my clothes nice and dry. The number one rule in winter camping and in the backcountry is don't sweat and get your clothes wet. So you always got to watch your layers out here. It's really nice after getting out of that steep terrain that's constantly upgoing, getting out to this nice flat area. So really enjoying that. The next goal is getting to the saddle between Needle Peak and Flatiron Peak. Just beautiful out here. You start to get to see some really nice views. You got a 180-degree view of all the peaks around. We're almost over a little hump here, and I think that's when the 360-degree views about start. Just got out to an opening here, and you start to get the views of the direction of Needle Peak. It's beautiful. Haven't seen a single soul today, but there are some tracks. Just ascending up this bit here. We eventually, if we're going all the way to the peak today, gotta get behind there. Always looks intimidating from afar, but the route's supposed to be pretty doable, and for the most part avalanche safe. That being said, you can never get complacent in this territory. I just wanted to mention something. When I'm hiking up to peaks and in mountain terrain like this in general, I always give edges a wide berth. Now, of course, there's cornices and such, which you can usually spot, but just as a rule of thumb, if there's an edge, I'm always gonna stay at least 20 foot back. I'll stay to the most middle section going up as I can. That way, you're increasing your chances of safety. And that's just something I wanted to share, because I know people get complacent, they wanna go look at edges. I'm not about that. I can get a great picture from the middle over here, and tragedies have happened that way. So I just really like to play it safe and just overplay it safe, if you know what I mean. But gonna see how far I can get today. I might make it all the way to the peak, or I might set up camp early, just assessing, but I'll let you guys know soon. So we're just coming up to the saddle over here, which is the option to go to Needle Peak, which is the more treacherous one. But on the right side, that is Flatiron Peak. Just a gorgeous view. I'm considering spending the night just around here because I want to have adequate time to get shelter, food. It's only about 12:45, but it's going to be dark around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I want to make sure I can get some footage for you guys as well. So I'm thinking tomorrow hiking the rest of the way up to Flatiron Peak. So I've found a place I'm going to call home for the night. Got this nice little spot right here on this knoll. I'll give you guys a more close-up and tell you about the spot momentarily. You don't want to know how long it took to set up this tent. Now, this is a pretty exposed area, which I was aware of setting the tent up, and there can be some winds. So it got pretty windy. It was pretty tricky to set this up, but I tell you, the best way to experience and learn about the outdoors is to get into it and just experience it firsthand, because a lot of the times things aren't going to go perfectly as you plan, and you learn how to adapt. Anyways, to talk a bit about the spot, we're just out of avalanche terrain here. I'm kind of up on this knoll, which is kind of nice, and we got a lot of trees over there, so we're kind of safe from avalanche, which is good, as well as the danger rating for avalanche is really low, and I'm not near any dangerous slope, and there's a gully, so if there even was some sort of avalanche, which is very unlikely coming down here, I have a gully in between. So I kind of have this safe zone up here. There's really not that much of an avalanche path there anyways, but just for sake of mentioning. Otherwise, yeah, looking forward to spending the night here. The wind's been coming in really heavy from behind here, so I'm just kind of setting up a bit of a windbreak barricade just to add a little touch to the shelter area. Pretty much set up base for the most part. Got the tent pretty secure as far as the lines. They're attached to some really good winter pegs, and they're jammed and buried deep, so hopefully that'll hold for the night. In these conditions, always in the back of my mind, I'm like, what if, you know? But yeah, I just gotta prepare as best as I can. And just an amazing view from here. Figured this was a great place to you know, spend the night and get a view. Now, since I'm all settled in here, I got my vestibule area for cooking. I'm going to have myself a mocha. I got some hot chocolate, got some coffee. It feels good to finally sit back and relax, have a cup of coffee. I'm very glad I got camp established. I was thinking earlier of pushing forward and getting up to the peak and maybe camping there. However, this spot's beautiful, and I think for the time, it was the smarter choice. Even though there's lots of daylight, I think it's good to be extra prepared and just do things way ahead of time when you can. It's supposed to be as low as minus 21 tonight with a wind chill. I think it's about minus 15 to 17 without. So hopefully be a nice cozy sleep tonight. So it's currently coming up to about 4:30 p.m. and sunsets just after 5:30. Really looking forward to spending a night here. It's actually been quite a while since I've done a solo overnighter on my own. I used to go out more, but that was quite a few years ago. You know, it's nice. I really enjoy this stuff, and I'm hoping you guys enjoy this too, and I'm just really happy to share it and hope you get something from it. Sometimes it's hard leaving our loved ones at home, and I was single for so long, and then I have a woman for the last 5 years, so we're pretty close, and I try to be around home as much as I can, but once in a while I want to come out here and do something like this and share with you guys. So hope you guys are enjoying so far. And we got such a beautiful view behind us here, and we're basically facing north, so that's directly north that way, and just beautiful. You can see all the mountains just cascading as far as the eyes can see. So I just checked the temperature gauge. It's currently 5:33 p.m. So I imagine it's going to be a cold night. I like these nights out from time to time, but it also reminds you how grateful to be if you have a roof over your head at this moment in time. Just get a view. Beautiful sunset. And here's the view I get from inside the tent. So just spending some time inside the tent here, about to make a meal. We have creamy macaroni and cheese. Looking forward to it. At this point, just kind of killing time in the tent. It's a little too cold outside, as you can see, but nonetheless having a good time. So it's about 7:15 p.m. The temperature's continuing to drop. I'm just enjoying some time here in the tent. I do notice on solo ventures, I do get a little bit of loneliness naturally, but just really having a great time. Really enjoying the solitude out here. Staying nice and cozy as well. Just checking in quick before I go to bed. It's starting to get a little windy. It's supposed to get up to like 65-kilometer-an-hour winds early hours of the morning. A little frustrating when the wind comes. I just got hit with a heavy gust and it shakes all the frost off and it falls down on you. Some things are hard to avoid, but looking forward to a cozy sleep. Got the tent pegged down extra hard, deep, hoping for a good night. Good morning. Just getting up for the day here. I had a pretty cozy sleep. It got pretty windy at times. It got down to about -16 to -17 last night, and with the wind chill about -20 to -21. But stayed cozy and about to get going for the day here. One quick tip I wanted to share regarding your fuel and the cold weather. Now, I've made mistakes in the past of not keeping my canister of fuel as concealed as it could have been during the night and in cold weather, and it can be kind of slower to get your food or your coffee going the next morning. So one quick tip I wanted to share. What I do these days is I keep the jet oil fuel or whatever canister of fuel for that matter wrapped in a -30 sock and tucked away in my bag, or the other option, you can keep that tucked in the foot of your sleeping bag overnight. And though the gas doesn't freeze, it can still be a challenge to get going the next morning. So that way you can be ready for your coffee and your food the next morning and you're good to go with no issues. One final tip regarding the Jetboil fuel. What I also do is I wrap tin foil around the fuel canister to coddle it, just to help hold in the heat a little bit extra. Just behind where I slept, there's a nice little peak here, and right behind there is Needle Peak. So for the game plan for today, I'm going to at least attempt to get up to Flatiron Peak. I can't make any promises. I'm gonna see what the conditions are like. And as I'm going solo, I'm always playing it safe, but at least I'll get some footage to share. Beautiful morning we have here. Quite a bit of cloud this morning, but it was a nice sunrise. One thing these winter trips make me really grateful for is coming home to having hot water, a bed to sleep in, and a roof over my head. I find these trips, when you're enduring the cold, really makes you grateful for the simple things in life, and that's what I really enjoy about kind of getting away to these kind of ventures. Really helps keep an attitude of gratitude. You know, if you have a roof over your head, hot water, a bed to sleep in, you're extremely lucky, and that's the way I try to view things every day of my life. So assessing the situation, I've got a new game plan. There's been endless cloud rolling and looming around where we have to go this morning, and it's calling for an even more of a cloudier morning. So just as a safety precaution, instead I'm gonna go to the peak up here to get a vantage point, which will get some amazing views as well. Sometimes we got to be adaptable. Now it's a total whiteout over there, so I know I definitely made the right choice. Hard to do sometimes. Hey guys, so I'm just back down at the car here. A couple things occurred since I last spoke with you. One being the GoPro action button froze on play and the camera just turned right off. I guess in extreme cold conditions, maybe GoPro malfunctions, but I'll have to look into it. Or if anybody knows about that, feel free to leave in the comments section. So that kind of put a damper on some of the filming I wanted to do. Otherwise, some really heavy winds came in. I knew there was supposed to be 65-kilometer-an-hour winds, but I didn't anticipate how heavy it would be sweeping across the mountainside. And I was just getting snow brushing at me from the side pretty heavily. And it got to a point I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back down, count my blessings. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to go to Flatiron Peak, but however, I believe in a higher power sometimes, and when that cloud cover came is a solid signal that it's a no-go. It's good to follow that. I believe someone's looking out for you sometimes, and you got to follow that little hint when you get it. And intuition as well is a very valuable thing to follow. And if whatever you get from this video, I hope you got some value from it. But one thing, if I can leave with you, is always follow your intuition. And I feel I left at the right time. Anyways, wish I could have got more filming done. But if this video added value to you or you enjoyed it, it would mean the world if you would give a like or leave a comment, subscribe, or all of the above. Till next time, thanks for watching.